local senator is facing criticism for a key vote to try to end it.
Border Patrol is raising some eyebrows after taking a photo in front of one of Chicago's most famous landmarks.
And many areas are cleaning up after snowfall across the region. Good afternoon, I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. Weather is first at 4, and what an interesting 24 hours we had. Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls, take a look at this. What a big difference from this morning, huh?
Huge difference, yes. So it really came down to exactly your location, because every single location on the map, it's a little bit different. Take a look at some of our totals that we've had coming in. And mind you, these are not the final reports either. A lot of the numbers that you're seeing on your screen, this is with the round that came through last night and early this morning. But there are several portions of the area, especially south suburbs, northwest Indiana, that were picking up snow all throughout the afternoon hours. So numbers are going to increase. But Cedar Lake, as of this morning, around late morning, midday, was reporting 12.3 inches of snow. And again, that number is likely going to go up. 12 inches in Momence, which is in Kankakee County. St. John, about 10 inches in Winthrop Harbor. And then in the city of Chicago, in the Edgewater neighborhood, we actually saw about 3.5 inches. So way less in the city of Chicago, but surrounding areas were hit very, very hard. Satellite and radar, we're starting to see things winding down all across the region. This now includes LaPorte County as well. We still have a winter weather advisory in LaPorte County, but I really wouldn't be surprised if that gets dropped very shortly. Temperatures right now near the freezing mark, but it feels like we're in the 20s, and we do have warmer days ahead. But for now, we want to talk more about the snow, and we're going to take you live outside to Tia, who is in Hobart, Indiana. Oh, we don't have Tia. We'll get that a little bit later on in the show. But in the meantime, I do want to show you one more thing. You see this? Wind chills, 20s. Actual air temps are going to be dropping into the 20s. But then we have temps that are going to be in the 50s and 60s later on in the 7-day. Those details coming up.
All right, Emily, thank you so much. Let's talk about the latest with the government shutdown, already the longest in U.S. history. It might end soon. It's a live look, of course, at the Capitol, where last night Senate Democrats said yes to a deal with Republicans to move forward on a plan to reopen the federal government. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was one of the few Democrats who voted for the plan.
This shutdown continues to cause issues ranging from air travel to food benefits. Connor Hansen has the latest.
The American people have suffered for long enough.
After 40 days, an end to the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is in sight. A group of 8 moderate Democrats and independents joined Republicans to pass a funding bill without their top demand, a guaranteed extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Staying in a shutdown mode was not getting us anywhere.
In exchange, Republicans agreed to a mid-December vote on the health care credits.
We've got a path to a health care debate and vote within a month on the Democratic proposal to fix health care, where we will have a fight with Republicans and see who stands up for Americans.
The deal would also reinstate federal workers fired during the shutdown and provide back pay to those who've gone weeks without a paycheck. The rest of the Democratic caucus remains angry and frustrated with the deal.
Health care is once again at the forefront of people's minds. People now see that premiums are about to skyrocket.
The logjam broke as air travel woes reached a boiling point over the weekend, with thousands of flights canceled and delayed across the country.
The public and media will debate who won, but we all know who carried the weight of it and who has to pick up the pieces when it finally ends. It's us, the federal workforce, that has been the rope in this game of tug-of-war.
A House vote could come as early as Wednesday. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 32, Chicago.
Senator Durbin is responding to criticism from Democrats for his vote. He says the suffering was just too much for him.
Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration. I share their opinions of this administration, but cannot accept a strategy which wages political battle at the expense of my neighbor's paycheck or the food for his children.
Illinois' other Senator Tammy Duckworth voted against the measure. Governor Pritzker called it an empty promise.
A suspect has been arrested for a shooting. Police say targeted Border Patrol agents in Little Village this weekend. This was Saturday during a Border Patrol raid in the area. DHS says the suspect is from Mexico and is in the U.S. illegally. Officials say he has been convicted of several crimes before, including aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and vehicle.
Governor Pritzker is criticizing federal agents for posing for pictures this morning at the Bean and referencing Little Village. He said, quote, making fun of our neighborhoods and communities is disgusting. A photographer from Block Club Chicago was taking pictures of the winter scene at Millennium Park after the snowstorm this morning when he came upon hundreds of Border Patrol agents. They were gathering at the Bean for what appeared to be a photo opportunity.
Around 6:30 in the morning, he noticed Monroe, right downtown, was filled with vehicles, undercover SUVs. And just after 7 a.m., dozens of agents came out of those vehicles, many with their large firearms that you can see in the photos right there. And they went up to Cloudgate, or the Bean as we know it, and essentially took photos. Gregory Bovino, of course, the head of the Department of Border Patrol, was there as well. They posed for these pictures. These are Collins photos that you can see in here. And they said, 1, 2, 3, say Little Village on 3 instead of cheese. And Little Village, of course, the neighborhood where there was a tear gassing incident over the weekend.
Now, according to Block Club, when Bovino realized there was a reporter at the scene, he told the men to mask up. The agency has repeatedly used photos and videos of agents posing in Chicago on social media, including at the Trump Tower and the Chicago River. Well, Mayor Johnson reacted to both of these incidents today. He says the behavior of Border Patrol Chief Bovino is alarming.
Even when he was on his way into federal court, he paraded down the street and saluted individuals. And then they go on social media and put hip-hop music to their terror in black and brown communities. That's not even a dog whistle anymore. That's some real racist, jacked up stuff that he is engaged in.
Mayor Johnson also expressed his anger after video appears to show a 1-year-old girl and her parents being pepper sprayed by federal agents in Cicero. Let's check back in with the weather, and Tia is live in Indiana. Tia.
Hey, you guys. Yeah, I'm in Indiana where we really saw the brunt of this snow for the first snowfall to happen in our area. This has really been the area that has been hit the hardest. I want you to kind of look behind me. I know this isn't an actual indication of how much snow fell because obviously a plow truck came through here, kicked up some of the snow so people could make their way through this major street that you see right here. So I kind of want to walk you through what we endured today. If you were in the Chicagoland area, you were like, really? This isn't that bad. It was a little rough early in the morning. I know I was driving on Lakeshore Drive myself, and that's when I saw a lot of snow come down. Northwest Indiana getting really most of it in terms of accumulation. But what I can tell you is that we came down Ridge Road through Indiana. We went through Munster, Griffith, Indiana. We also traveled through Gary, and here we are right now in Hobart, Indiana. And you can see they really received the brunt of all of this snow. At one point, we do know that I-65 in both directions were shut down completely because of how much snow accumulated in really a short amount of time. I got a chance to speak to one woman. She described it as kind of like a water hose, like turn it on, turn it off. And in fact, she got stuck on I-65, spent 1 hour just sitting there with nowhere to go. And in fact, we met her at a gas station because she had to fill up. That's how much gas her car went through sitting there. But it's almost like the snow event that really never happened. Now that you look around, you can see this area right here still slick. The temperatures definitely have dropped out here, so it is cool out here. So we do advise people, if you are going to be hitting the road, maybe you're at work right now, you're going to be hitting the road, or you're leaving your house making some errands, do take your time because we may be seeing in some spots some black ice out there. So that's just a little word of advice. Here's the good news in all of this. If you're watching right now and you're like, I wasn't expecting this, I want to be done with it, come the weekend, I'm sure Emily, our chief meteorologist, is going to talk about it, but we will be well into the 60s in some spots. So, yes, we're dealing with this right now. When you look around this weekend, you'll be like, what snow? All the snow probably will be melted away. And, in fact, it was so bad out here at one point that we actually got stuck. We're going to have that video. You'll hear from the woman who was stuck in traffic on I-65, as well as hearing from one of the Indiana sergeants, the Indiana State Police sergeants, who was out there when all of this was crazy on the interstate. You'll hear all of that coming up in our newscast at 5 o'clock. So make sure you tune in for that, and we'll have a live report then. Terrence and Sylvia, I know you're warm in the studio. I'm sure you're having a good time in there, so I'll send it back to you for now.
I will say, actually, today, Tia, it's a little cold in here, but I'm sure not as cold as it is out there for you. Yeah.
No way. No way. You don't need a hat, gloves, toasty warmers in your boots.
You know how to do it.
Not that bad in the studio, but you guys know it. Every time when this season rolls around, I'm like the first person, like, can you please, I'm like a kid out here.
You are.
Please send me to the snow.
Exactly. We love you for that.
I'm not going to complain about it too much.
We love it that it's
absolutely
you.
love it. So I'm happy to be out here. And, we'll have that live report for you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, so make sure you tune in.
Improve the kid thing to me. Make a little snowman out of the snow behind you. See what you can do. Challenge.
Let's go see it.
It's a challenge. Let's go.
And
check back in with us online, on social media. Oh. My goodness.
He's going to make a snow angel.
Bye, Tia. Bye. A lot more to get to on the News at 4.
We do love her, don't we? A man charged with stealing a Cicero ambulance. The new details, we have learned about this in court.
Also still to come for you, President Trump handing out a series of pardons to key allies who helped him investigate the 2020 election.
Excitement building after another Bears win. Lou's going to be joining us with more on the big victory against the Giants on Sunday.
You're watching.
Welcome back. It's 4:13. 13, a small plane carrying hurricane relief supplies to Jamaica crashes in Florida. Investigators say the turboprop plane crashed into a pond in a residential area in Coral Springs just minutes after takeoff this morning. A fire official says no victims were located, and the search has now become a recovery effort. It isn't known how many people were actually on board that aircraft.
A new trial for Chicago gang leader is happening now. Opening statements were today for LeBar Bossman Spann, the boss of the Four Corners Hustlers. He was convicted in 2021 on several murder charges and was facing life in prison. But a new trial was ordered after claims prosecutors made secret promises to a witness. We're getting new details today about the alleged theft of a Cicero ambulance. Remember this from Friday? Police say Lamont Hill took the ambulance from Loretto Hospital, then led police on a chase, crashing into several squad cars, injuring officers. Police also say he hit other cars on the road. Now we know there was a paramedic in the back of the ambulance when it was taken. That person jumped out at an intersection. Hill is charged with 19 counts. He is still in the hospital.
Happy Victory Monday as the Bears are still riding high after yesterday's win.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but a win's a win, my friends. Lou is here with everything that happened.
2 weeks in a row, nerve-wracking.
Don't forget that, Tia. Win is a win.
Win is a win.
They don't give you 2 wins because it looked pretty.
Yeah.
Just one. All right, don't tell the Bears they're lucky after pulling out another one-score victory. They're 4th already this season, which is 2 more than they had all of last season. Bears are believing in themselves that even when behind in the 4th quarter, hey, man, they're going to come back. Caleb Williams had a couple of big throws down the stretch. Watch him here. Colston Loveland reaching across his body there, kept the 91-yard drive alive, cut the deficit to 2017, and then the bullet to Luther Burden to the Giants' 19-yard line after the muff punt set up the game-winning run. Bears didn't play their best ball, and Ben Johnson will use that this week to the team's advantage.
I think it's the best thing about us winning right now is we can come back and we can coach them hard, you know, and we'll tell them the truth, and they know it. I mean, they're professionals. They all know that that we're winning, but yet this isn't necessarily the style or the fashion that we want to hang our hat on long term. We understand the urgency that's at hand. We know where we are in the NFC right now. But I think the biggest thing in the message to the team is we're a 6-3 team right now that's looking to get to 7-3.
Yeah, Bears started 6-3 back in 2018 and turned that into a 12-4 finish. NFL teams that begin a season 6-3, they've qualified for the postseason 73% of the time. I like those odds. It's looking like the Bears will need to win 4 of their final 8 games to qualify for these playoffs. We'll talk more about it with Ben Johnson on the news at 5. Sylvia.
All right, thank you for that. President Trump is giving pardons to several people involved in alleged plots to overturn the 2020 election. The list includes former Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and a few more. It does not include a pardon for Trump himself. Many of the people listed are also charged in the state case in Georgia, which is not covered by a federal pardon. The Cook County Clerk's Office is holding a ballot lottery today for local races. This will determine candidate positions for the next few years. The gubernatorial primary election, the lottery applies to county races that have more than one candidate running. 26 candidates in 11 races are included.
House members are coming back to Washington to vote on the Senate's plan to reopen the government. Meanwhile, the Lincoln Forum and the Union League Club of Chicago are putting on a public forum about fixing civility in American democracy. Rahm Emanuel, former Chicago mayor, and Mike Pence, former vice president, are talking with Jonathan Martin from Politico. They're discussing why lawmakers are so divided by identity politics and how to fix it. Both guys say Americans are sick of lawmakers refusing to work together.
I think the American people know this is off kilter. They know that politics around Hunger Games is not healthy, not good.
I think there is a growing desire to see us get back. And I'm not talking about holding hands and singing Kumbaya and saying we don't have anything we disagree on. That was never my relationship with Rahm Emanuel.
Emanuel suggests one way to start healing the divisions is to ban kids under 18 from using social media platforms.
As many of us brave the first snowy commute of the season, there's a lion at the Lincoln Park Zoo that seemed to love every minute of it. This is Jabari sitting on one of the heated rocks in his habitat. Yeah, the zoo says if an animal is outside, that's because they want to be out there. And when they want to get out of the cold, guess what they do, T?
What they do?
They go back inside.
Yeah, they have autonomy. Go figure.
I wonder if people were saying that they were worried about him because he was sitting out there, you know?
I didn't know the rock was heated.
Rock.
Come on,
yeah,
now. Get on his level, Emily. You got a heated rock.
That is a beautiful animal, isn't it?
Really is.
Look at that.
This makes me want to quote every line from Lion King.
Go for it.
Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me.
Everything you see, what's the line? Everything the sun touches. There you go.
Is yours.
I just want a heated rock out of all of this.
Heated rock to sit on sounds amazing.
I would like that for this office right now.
Who needs hand warmers or anything? Just give me a heated rock.
Just give me a heated rock. That would work. You know, use them.
We'll call the Lincoln Park Zoo, see what they can work out for you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think a lot of people were actually out enjoying some of the snow today. I saw so many kids out and about on their walks to school, stopping and making snow angels and, you know, the snowballs. But actually, the snow that we had, it wasn't very good packing snow. So it was not good for those snowmen or the snowballs because we actually had a really high snow to liquid ratio, meaning that it took less water to amount to how much snow that we actually got. So it was more of a powdery snowfall that we had out there this morning. Temperatures right now, we are sitting in the lower 30s. We have west-northwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's where we're headed throughout the overnight. So the first half of the night is going to be mostly clear. Temps are going to drop into the mid-20s for a lot of us. And then we start to see increasing cloud cover going into early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow for Veterans Day, we have the chance of seeing scattered showers in the morning in the form of snow, but it should not at all be to the intensity that we saw this morning. So scattered snow showers possible in the morning. During the afternoon, we're warming up to around 40 degrees for a lot of us, and we should be able to break into some sunshine too. And then that's going to set the tone for the middle portion of the week. By Wednesday, we get back to seeing some sunshine and finally some warmer temperatures too. For tonight, 25, we'll have westerly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Snow showers possible early on Tuesday. After that, we're partly sunny. On Wednesday, partly cloudy. We're up to 49 degrees. We're in the 50s later this week. So even for those of you that picked up around a foot of snow last night and this morning, well, all of that's going to be melting later this week. We're in the low 50s by Thursday, Friday, mid 50s, and then we have 60s in store for us this weekend. Back to you.
Okay, sounds good, and we'll be right back.
Well, Major League Baseball is making off-season noise because federal prosecutors say they found a big betting scandal in the MLB.
2 pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians are accused of taking bribes in a gambling scheme. Caroline Elliott joining us now live from New York. And Caroline, how are sports fans taking this?
Yeah, Sylvia, Terrence, as you can imagine, they're not taking it that great. We've seen a lot of talk online, some saying that both of these players are just plain stupid, and others are wondering if this entire game might be rigged. Now, we do know that Emmanuel Clase has not been put in custody yet, but we do know that police arrested Luis Ortiz yesterday, and this afternoon he made his first appearance in Boston federal court. U.S. attorneys are accusing both players of taking bribes to throw pitches into the dirt on purpose. According to the indictment, the pitchers would make a deal with bettors in advance on the type of pitch they would throw during the game, and then gamblers would use this info to place hundreds of fraudulent bets. U.S. attorneys say the unnamed co-conspirators won close to $500,000 and then would give the players a very, very small portion of the earnings. So how much was at stake here? Well, the indictment says Clase, who reportedly makes $4.5 million a year, got paid up to $7 grand during the scheme, and Ortiz, who makes well over $700 grand, also got paid only a couple $1,000s. Now, both players are facing up to 65 years in prison.
It's just foolish. I mean, you've got to be a complete, utter idiot to be involved in something like this, with all of the ability that you have, all of the work that you have put in, everything that is going on that is positive in your life, and you're a Major League Baseball player, and you're literally taking pennies, less than pennies on the dollar compared to your salary and what you can earn.
The DOJ says this all started in 2023, and now both players are charged with wire fraud, conspiracy, money laundering, and bribery. According to the indictment, the defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. It goes on to say, quote, integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the game, it brings disgrace not only to the participants, but also it damages public trust. Meantime, the players' lawyers say that both players here did not do anything wrong, and we do know that the MLB says that both players are cooperating. Guys.
Caroline, thanks so much. All right, still to come, the government shutdown could end this week, but issues in the sky still remain.
Hundreds more flights canceled and delayed nationwide, including right here in Chicago, and we'll have a live report.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair. Hi.
Right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact, if you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
When you
Now at 4:30, the government shutdown may be close to ending, but flight issues still lingering across the country.
President Trump's tariffs are being debated in the nation's highest court, but you could receive some money from them.
The city council is holding a big budget meeting tonight.
But first, let's get another look at the forecast.
Yeah, how was your morning heading to work this morning? Because it was quite eventful. Now look at this as the sun sets. A few clouds in the sky. Actually very pretty out there. Things have definitely calmed down.
Nice little mauve color there.
Yeah, it
is. It's stunning out there right now. So we're already starting to see clearing skies, which totally different scene than what a lot of us were experiencing this morning. And we've had some very impressive snow totals so far. But these numbers that you see behind me, some of these are going to be going up. So in Cedar Lake, we had a total of 12.3 inches. That was actually reported late morning, but then we were dealing with snow into the afternoon over in northwest Indiana. So again, some of these numbers are going to go up, but very impressive totals across at least some portions of the area, mainly in Lake County, Illinois, and then also in Lake, Porter, and LaPorte County, Indiana, as well as in Kankakee. We actually came in at 12 inches in Moments, and that too was a total that came in this morning. Fortunately, things are very calm and quiet out there now for most of us. In LaPorte County, we still have just a couple snow showers, but for the most part, the intensity has really died down. Forecast low temperatures tonight. We're dropping down into the mid-20s for a lot of us. Wind chill temperatures very easily dropping into the teens, and normal lows for this time of the year are right around 37 degrees. So we're coming in more than 10 degrees below that. Your out the door forecast for Tuesday, which of course is Veterans Day. We're going to start off cloudy. A couple snow showers are possible in the morning. Little to no accumulation. Temperatures during the afternoon should warm up to about 42.
All right, we continue our coverage of the government shutdown now. Congress is one step closer to reopening the government following a key Senate vote last night.
Air traffic controllers are among the federal employees that are still working, of course, without a paycheck. Some calling out sick, leading to thousands of delayed and canceled flights across the country. Chelsea Torres is live at one of the airports impacted in Charlotte. Chelsea?
Yeah, even if the Congress could open the government here soon, we already know that there's been immense delays and cancellations across the entire country. I mean, as of right now, there's well over 7,000 delays and over 2,000 cancellations, and Chicago O'Hare is at the top of that list. The FAA had already reduced flights on Friday, and they say that it's really just because of a shortage of air traffic controllers.
It benchmarks the first time in history that air traffic controllers and other aviation safety professionals we represent have now received 2 $0 paychecks. That leads to added stress, frustration, pressures where air traffic controllers cannot be 100% focused on their job. They're not a political pawn.
Tomorrow, the number of flight reductions will increase to 6%, and it's supposed to reach 10% by Friday. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says besides air traffic controllers calling out of work to take side jobs, he's also seeing nearly 20 air traffic controllers retiring every single day.
That trend line is getting worse, right? More controllers aren't coming to work day by day, the further they go without a paycheck because Democrats refuse to pay them. And so as I look 2 weeks out, as we get closer to Thanksgiving travel, listen, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have air travel slow to a trickle.
And this morning, President Trump went on social media to tell air traffic controllers that it's time to get back to work, praising others who keep showing up. He says for those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the, quote, Democrat shutdown hoax, end quote, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. Now, guys, even if the government does reopen, the president, head of all air traffic controllers and their union, even says that it could take months before many of them are fully compensated. Sylvia, Terrence.
All right, thanks for that, Chelsea. Well, the City Council is holding an emergency hearing right now.
Political reporter Paris Schutz is live at City Hall. Paris, what's this hearing all about?
Yeah, Terrence and Sylvia, City Council members are giving the mayor's budget team a grilling on an outside report that the city spent $3 million on to come in and make recommendations on how to save money out of this massive $16.7 billion budget. So Ernst & Young, they did the report. They came up with as much as $1.4 billion in savings. And these alders want to know, well, how come the mayor isn't incorporating the majority of this into his budget that attempts to close a $1.15 billion gap? Now, the mayor said that's just one of many considerations that he has to take in.
I just hope that they spend, the same amount of time in this EY report also looking at how corporate interests are continuing to get away with without having to pay their fair share in taxes. I think all of it requires our attention at this time.
So this report done by Ernst & Young, thus the slang EY, it recommends things like consolidating city real estate, some of the fleet of city vehicles, consolidating the way the city doles out contracts, and then $100 million in savings by having city employees pay more toward their health coverage. But alders are complaining that only about 80 million of these ideas and recommendations was included in the mayor's budget proposal, along with a proposed employee head tax, social media tax, and other revenue generators. Council members like the 19th Ward's Matt O'Shea says it doesn't sound like the majority of alders want to go along with these taxes.
We've been very clear. We want to see more cuts. We want to see more efficiencies. We know we can't cut our way out of this, but before we talk about higher taxes, higher fees, we need to identify cuts and efficiencies, and this current proposal the mayor's put forth doesn't include enough.
So this meeting is expected to go late into the evening, and it was $3 million the city paid for Ernst & Young to come do this report. Now, the budget director for the city is defending why they're not including more of this, saying these are long-term recommendations. You can't necessarily see all these savings in 1 year's budget cycle, but alders say, we're not buying it. There's more answers that we need to get. It's just all part of these budget back and forth negotiations that will be happening until the end of the year. Sylvia and Terrence.
All right, Paris, thank you. And days after President Trump's tariffs face their biggest back and forth, biggest legal test, he's now thinking about giving some of the money straight to Americans. The president wants to give people at least $2,000 from the tariff money. He says everyone except high-income people would get the money. This happened after the White House defended Trump's use of emergency law to impose global tariffs before the Supreme Court. Trump administration officials say there are no plans right now to hand out any tariff money, but people could benefit in other ways.
It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans.
Congressional approval would likely be needed before tariff money checks could be sent to Americans.
A big win for the LGBTQ+ community. The Supreme Court is rejecting a request to overturn its decision on same-sex marriage. An appeal by Kim Davis, a former Kentucky court clerk, challenged the court's landmark decision. Davis has been trying to get the court to overturn a lower court order that fined her $360,000 after denying a marriage license to a same-sex couple. The Supreme Court did agree to take up a case about mail-in ballots that could set new limits ahead of next year's midterm elections. At issue here is whether federal law bans states from counting mail-in ballots that are received after Election Day. This stems from a case in Mississippi where the state Republican Party argues that mail-in ballots received after Election Day should not be counted. Many states, including Illinois, allow ballots to be counted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. Locked away for years, a piece of history has finally made its way back to the family.
But what did it take to return this Veterans Medal, and how can you help reunite others with the families of those who served our country?
A Purple Heart lost for decades is back where it belongs.
Family of a World War II veteran from Oak Lawn and Hammond, Indiana, got his medal back today. And tomorrow is Veterans Day, and there's a way you can help find the next one.
My uncle is up there smiling.
Army rifleman James Bennett was wounded twice in World War II, once in France, then again in Germany. He wrote when he could. The words still hold his voice. After the war, he and his wife settled in Oak Lawn. He volunteered with the fire and police departments and fixed toys for children with disabilities. His Purple Heart ended up in a safe deposit box that no one claimed.
When I came into office, I went down into our vault and I saw in a display case a Purple Heart. I wondered who this belonged to and why we were holding on to it. And it turns out a lot of people store their military medals in a bank safe deposit box to keep them from being stolen or burnt up in a house fire.
That discovery led Treasurer Michael Frericks to start what the state now calls Operation Purple Heart. The program tracks down lost medals and returns them to loved ones.
We have to do a bit of homework and detective work out there. We worked with the media. The Chicago Tribune helped us track down some of these families, because it's not always so easy.
The detective work paid off. It led to Bennett's family in Oak Lawn. He died in 1990. His wife and daughter have since passed too. So Monday, his niece accepted the medal in his honor.
I think I'm just going to display it at home, and I also want to take a picture and send it to all the relatives that are left alive and share it with them too. And I hope that this also encourages other people to look into getting their Purple Hearts from their family members.
Her hope matches the Treasurer's mission to bring more of these medals home.
This is the 17th Purple Heart we've returned since taking office. I believe that's the most in the country, but our job is not done yet. We still have 6 more in our possession that we would love to get into the warm embrace of their family and out of our cold vault.
Once tucked away behind steel, Bennett's medal is back in the hands that remember him.
Thank you for your service and keeping us safe, and just thank you.
Illinois has returned 17 lost Purple Hearts since 2015. 6 more still wait to be claimed. If you think one could belong to someone you know, go to OperationPurpleHeart.org.
Leo High School honoring veterans ahead of Veterans Day. The school invited their alumni service members back for the annual ceremony on the South Side. More than 100 people showed up for this. The choir performed the national anthem in the courtyard, which, by the way, is named after Corporal John Fardy, an alum and World War II hero who graduated in 1940. In years past, Leo has awarded diplomas, that is, to men who had left Leo High School to serve at this ceremony. Now, taps was also played for the veterans who were lost. They read the names of 75 Leo graduates who died fighting for their country. The first snowstorm of the season, leaving behind quite a mess on the roads today, but we can now breathe a sigh of relief.
Emily is tracking quite a warm-up later this week in her full forecast.
And here's a look at your trip home.
BB.
Can you see? Can you see? Is it bad?
It's like a few. Might be some minor fender benders.
What are you thinking?
Near, that's too small.
A little ice?
Hobart? Yeah. Oh, that's where, around where Tia is right now.
Oh, we'll go back to Tia and see if she made that snowman for you.
Be safe out there, y'all. right, we're checking in with Emily as we take a live look downtown.
Pretty.
That's a great
shot.
You see this
I was going to
angle
ask.
of the
Tell us
city.
about this shot. Anybody?
Well, it's north
Oh,
of where we are right now, and that's about all I have.
See some snow on the roof.
Is that the water tower thing?
No, it's Hancock.
But it's looking down over water tower place, right?
No.
Here?
Oh, yes, actually, maybe
Listen,
it is.
I'm
Yes.
directionally challenged.
Well, you know, we just solved the mystery for you.
All I could see was the snow.
Yeah,
That was
well,
on the
you
top
know,
of that one roof.
that's definitely something that's grabbing everybody's attention, right? Yes, so we did get quite a bit of snow out there, just depending on where you're at. But Lake County, Illinois, and Lake County, Indiana, as well as Kankakee, Porter, and LaPorte got hit the hardest. We had some snow totals between 10 and 12 inches that were reported in some of those locations. But now things are nice and calm out there, and it's just all about the cleanup. We have temperatures that are sitting in the lower 30s, a lot of us right around that freezing mark. So just keep in mind, untreated surfaces, especially bridges, overpasses, they could very well become slick again tonight because temps are already at the freezing mark for a lot of us. And then tonight we're going to be dropping down into the 20s. Here's your 5-day forecast, though. We have huge changes ahead of us. And I think a lot of you are probably going to be very happy about it. So tomorrow for Veterans Day, we're going to be in the lower 40s. We jump to near 50 degrees on Wednesday, which, by the way, is pretty close to what's considered to be average. Your average high sits at 51 degrees. Today, we were a very far cry from that with highs only in the 30s. But we're going to be in the mid to upper 50s by Thursday and Friday. And then this weekend, I'm actually forecasting highs that are going to be in the 60s. So way warmer than average going into Saturday and Sunday. Satellite and radar. Here's what we have right now. We still have some snow showers coming down across LaPorte County. And we still have that winter weather advisory that's remaining in effect until 9 p.m. there. Everywhere else, headlines have been cleared and dropped. And right now, a lot of us are sitting under partly cloudy skies. The first half of tonight is going to be mostly clear to partly cloudy. And then during the later evening hours into the overnight, that's when we start to see increasing cloud cover again. And don't be surprised if when you wake up tomorrow morning that we have scattered snow showers around the region again. It's not going to be anything in comparison to what we just went through, but scattered snow showers still going to be possible for the first half of the day tomorrow. Then we're going to see partly sunny skies during the afternoon, eventually clearing out going into Tuesday night and into early Wednesday. Now, looking ahead to Wednesday, notice how we have this cold front that's slipping through Tuesday night in the early morning hours of Wednesday. But we're really not going to feel the effects of that as far as temperatures are concerned, because if anything, temps are actually going to continue to warm up. So we're looking at highs pretty close to 50 degrees. By Wednesday afternoon, we have high pressure that's going to stay in control through the day on Wednesday into Wednesday night. By Thursday, we're going to start to see increasing cloud cover again. Take a look at this view right now. It is stunning out there over O'Hare. We have northwesterly winds 10 miles per hour. It's cold. We have 32 degrees as your temperature, but wind chill temps are actually in the mid-20s for a lot of us. Now for tonight, we're planning on low temperatures right around 25 degrees, and your wind chills are going to be dropping into the teens because we'll have westerly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Your 7-day forecast, 41 degrees tomorrow, a chance of scattered snow showers, but little to no accumulation is expected. On Wednesday, we're going to be partly cloudy, mostly cloudy on Thursday, but high temperatures warming up in a really nice way. So we're in the upper 40s then by Wednesday, 50s Thursday and Friday. And then this weekend, we are planning on low to mid 60s for your high on Saturday. Sunday is going to come along with the chance of at least some scattered rain showers. And then temperatures begin to slip back down into the 50s on Sunday. By Monday, we are in the 40s. We'll be right back.
This show.
Comedy, horror, and drama are among the latest digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library.
Now, Ashley Dvorkin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
Oh no, not again. The body swap comedy Freakier Friday tops the list of new home releases. The sequel reunites Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan as Tess and Anna Coleman, who face another magical switch turning two families upside down.
You, Frank, are the best of the best.
Liam Neeson picks up the badge in the Naked Gun reboot, playing the son of Leslie Nielsen's iconic detective out to solve a murder and save his police squad.
The future of Downton Abbey is now in Mary's hands.
Downton Abbey, the grand finale, follows the Crawleys through scandal, financial trouble, and change in the summer of 1930 as the staff prepares for a new chapter.
There are a lot of people saying you could be the next great quarterback.
The sports horror thriller Him centers on a rising football star recovering from an injury under the guidance of his hero until things take a dark turn.
I think something's happening to us.
Allison Brie and Dave Franco star in the horror film together as a couple settling into the country life until a mysterious dark force threatens both their relationship and survival.
Buckle your seatbelt.
A cat-sitting favor lands Austin Butler in a deadly chase through New York's criminal underworld in the thriller Caught Stealing.
This is the site of Spinal Tap's reunion concert.
Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, brings the band back together 41 years after the original mockumentary as they search for a drummer and prep for a reunion concert.
This is going to be a new era for the morning show.
Small screen favorites to own the morning show's seasons 1 and 2 box set stars Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon navigating media scandals and power plays. In music, 5 Seconds of Summer drops their 6th album, Everyone's a Star. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, this is a good question for you, Sylvia. How far would you travel for a bite to eat? You know all the hot spots.
I would travel pretty far. This is interesting. So there's a survey that listed the top foodcation destinations, and I just want to say I disagree with this, okay?
Foodcation.
Yes, because that's what people do, right?
Yeah.
So these are trips taken just to experience local cuisine, and Chicago is high on the list, but
As it
according
should
to
be.
me, not high enough.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so this is Talker Research. The Windy City comes down to number 4. Look who's ahead of them.
4?
Yeah, this is so wrong. The survey says Chicago is a bucket list destination for people because of the deep dish pizza. Number 1 is Philadelphia for its cheesesteaks. Number 2 is New York City for its thin crust pizza. Number 3 is Kansas City, Missouri for its barbecue.
Makes sense.
Central Texas rounding out the top 5 for its Texas-style barbecue. I wonder if they were asking about specific types of food. Do you know what I mean?
Because y'all got to come here and eat something else besides just pizza. Now. That's good, but we got other stuff to offer you.
This is definitely questionable. I would not put it this way. Okay, I love this next one, because I know you're going to have a hard time with this. If you're planning on traveling to visit friends and family this holiday season, listen up.
Okay, because the research looks into how long is too long to stay with somebody.
Okay, before we
Are you trying to set me up?
No, because I know how you are with your personal family. Like, you will stay with them forever, and you're a happy
at their
camper.
house. But if they come here to see me, you got 3 days max. Okay, researchers surveyed 2,000 Americans. Most of them say they will be happy to host guests for 6 days.
No way.
Any longer means you're overstaying your welcome. Okay, so a third of people admit they'll begin dropping hints. That I do. It's time to go. And nearly a quarter survey claimed they'll just outright tell a guest if they stay long enough. Of course, not all guests get the same timetable. Parents are cool with their children staying for 10 days. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Love you. In-laws and other family members should cut it off. Cut it off at 5 days.
4 days max. I say 3 days is ideal. 4 days max.
To host.
Yes.
Okay.
And then even staying with somebody else. Like, you should never stay with somebody unless you're a child, like, you know,
Thank you. Yes.
like you
Yes.
and my children. They can stay as long as they want. But if I'm going over to somebody's house or if someone's coming over to mine, after 4 days,
Okay, so
it's
question
over.
for all 3 of you. How do you drop hints, though, then, that it's like, it might be
Your
time
bags
to
are
go?
at my door at 3 days, Terrence.
I lie before they come. So it's taken care of. So it's already taken care of. I just lied.
He said put the bags out the door.
I'm just thinking, I've stayed with my aunt, my mom's sister, for like a week.
Yeah, but that's your aunt. Like,
yeah, it's like a second mom.
Yeah, exactly. That's different.
I don't know.
3 days.
3 days.
Three. I'm with you. 4 max.
Good to know.
Isn't there something about the fish line? Like,
Yes,
right? What is it
fish and
again?
visitors smell bad after 3 days.
Yeah. Yes. Have you heard that?
I will
Yes.
keep that
the
in my
expression.
heart.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. No, that's a thing.
Let's do the newscast. Our producer is telling us to wrap it up. You got to discuss this later. There's more to say.
Oh.
Now at 5, snow is still blanketing much of northwest Indiana. We are live where people are still digging themselves out there.
The end to the government shutdown appears to be on the horizon. The common ground found on both sides of the aisle.
Despite movement in the Senate, flight cancellations are not slowing down. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
I'm Scott Shannon. Of course, the big story tonight is all the snow coming down hard earlier today, still covering most of the area.
We have team coverage tonight. Tia Ewing in northwest Indiana, which was slammed with the snow.
But first, Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls tracking snow totals and telling us what lies ahead. Emily.
Waiting on a lot of those numbers to come in, but here's some of those numbers as it stands. So what you're seeing on your screen right now, the 12.3 coming out of Cedar Lake in Moments, 12 inches. These numbers were actually reported during the late morning hours, and then we still had a little bit more snow coming down during the afternoon, of course, with that heavy band that was moving right on through northwest Indiana, even in portions of the city. We were seeing a little bit more in the way of snowfall between that 8 and 9 o'clock hour. So again, some of these numbers could potentially be going up, but depending on where you were, some locations saw very little. In fact, in Chicago, in the Edgewater neighborhood, only about 3.5 inches. At O'Hare, we only saw just over 1 inch of snow. But across some of the south suburbs, the north suburbs, there you see a 10 to 12 inches was reported. And again, some of those numbers could still be going up. So satellite and radar, right now, things are fairly quiet for most of us. Partly cloudy conditions. We do have some snow showers still coming down across LaPorte County, but the heavy stuff, that's now Michigan's problem and over toward northeastern Indiana, not so much northwest Indiana. Temperatures are down to about the freezing mark, so any untreated surfaces, they will become slick throughout the overnight as temperatures dip down into the 20s. But wind chill temps right now are already beginning to drop down into the teens, so it's going to get very cold tonight. We have a few snow showers in your forecast for Tuesday morning. But then after that, we have a really big warm up. We're talking 60s as a possibility this weekend. Those details coming up.
Well, let's keep the theme because some of the hardest hit areas in Illinois, Lake and Kankakee counties. You are looking at Kankakee, where, as you can see, snow still covers the sidewalks, piling up along the streets.
Check out Lake County. The snow plows were out in full force, clearing off the roads. When it came to driveways, people got their shovels and snow blowers out.
And while a lot of the snow in Chicago is in fact melting, not the case in northwest Indiana, which has been seeing the worst of all this.
Tia Ewing bundled up live in Gary with how things are looking right now. Hi, Tia.
Yeah, you have to be bundled up to be out here, Dawn and Scott, because as Emily mentioned, you can really feel those temperatures start to take a nosedive. In terms of the snow, I want you to kind of look and see it for yourself. We do know in northwest Indiana, 10 to 13 inches of snow did come down. At one point, it really wreaked havoc on I-65. It was at an absolute standstill. And I know a lot of people out there had to experience that. They were not happy about it. But guess what? We experienced some of this really awful weather, too. It's the first round of snow that blew through Chicago, already shattering records at O'Hare. Starting at midnight, a total of 1.6 inches fell, and even more than that came through. That alone shattered the previous record for November 10th that was set in 1991 at 0.4 inches. Some parts of Chicago picked up over 3 inches. The brunt of it all is being felt the hardest in northwest Indiana.
I had to shovel my way out of my house. And then it had stopped snowing. The sun was shining and everything. I said, okay, I can make it to the store and get back home. I get out there to Maryville, come out the store. It's another blizzard. At one point, traffic on I-65 in both lanes were at a standstill. Snow was acting more like a water hose, off and on again. Nearby communities reporting even more snow at 10 to 11 inches. For Eloise Mays, she says the commute was absolutely horrific.
How long did it take you to travel back from Maryville?
2 hours because I made a mistake and got on 8094. And it was sitting. I know I sat for like an hour.
Indiana State Police advised anyone needing to travel through Indiana not to even think about it.
I-65 northbound is
basically it's closed itself. There's some trucks that cannot get up a hill. So we're gridlocked over here, and don't know what we're going to do, to be honest. We have to wait for snowplows to get through here, some tow trucks to move some semis and get this road back open.
Thank you, sir. The Fox 32 live truck got stuck. Thanks to the gas station attendant for lending us his shovel and his muscles, we made it. All right, shout out to that gas station attendant that made sure we could get on our merry way. But in terms of the roads, this is something that, in all seriousness, you do need to be aware of. There are some really slick spots out there where some of that snow did melt because of the salt. So make sure that you take your time, especially under the veil of darkness. Sometimes that black ice is really hard to see. The good news here, we have to talk about the good news, right? Look at the good side of things is that, I don't know about you, but I'm already looking ahead to the weekend because I've heard from our chief meteorologist, Emily Walls, that we will be looking in the 60s. And that's something that I think we all can get on board with. Live in Gary, Tia Ewing, Fox 32 Chicago.
We're with you, Tia. Well, let's take a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where at 40 days, the government shutdown may be coming to an end. A group of 8 moderate Democrats and independents joined Republicans to pass a funding bill without their top demand, a guaranteed extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies. In exchange, though, Republicans agreed to a mid-December vote on the health care credits. The deal would also reinstate federal workers fired during the shutdown and provide back pay to people who have gone weeks without a paycheck. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was one of the Democrats to pass the bill.
Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration. I share their opinions of this administration, but cannot accept a strategy which wages political battle at the expense of my neighbor's paycheck or the food for his children.
A House vote could come as early as Wednesday.
All right, let's take a live look out at O'Hare. The spectacular vista aside, weather played havoc with flights today. In fact, more than 240 were canceled out at O'Hare. 130 canceled at Midway. The cancellations also because of the ongoing shutdown.
Despite the progress made to get the government open again, more than 7% of flights were canceled across the country. Terrence Lee is here with more.
Yeah, more cuts are coming, Dawn and Scott. The FAA is moving ahead with deeper cuts of flights at 40 major airports as air traffic controllers are about to miss a second paycheck. Some of those workers have stopped showing up, citing the added stress and need to take second jobs. President Trump is demanding they get back to work now. He's also recommending a bonus of $10,000 to those who didn't take any time off during the shutdown. The head of the Controllers Union said they're being used as a political pawn in the fight over the shutdown.
If you want to know what the real fallout of this shutdown is, it's not a budget line. It is the smallest and the most dangerous shift of all. When the most disciplined safety workforce in America is forced to think about survival instead of public safety. This is the cost. This is not theoretical. It is happening now in real families, in real control rooms, in real time.
Yeah, and tomorrow will be the second missed paycheck for controllers and other FAA employees. It's not clear how quickly they might be paid once the shutdown ends. It took more than 2 months for them to receive full back pay after the shutdown back in 2019, Scott.
All right, Terrence, thank you for that. The Trump administration, meanwhile, returning to the U.S. Supreme Court today in a push to keep full payments in the SNAP program frozen. This is the latest in the legal back and forth over how a program that helps buy groceries for some 42 million Americans should move forward during the shutdown. Lower courts had previously ruled that the government must keep full payments flowing. Justices are expected to issue their ruling tomorrow. Hundreds of uniformed and masked ICE agents converging on one of Chicago's most popular tourist attractions today.
Sylvia Perez joins us now with more on that.
Yeah, it was quite the scene this morning, bright and early, just after Millennium Park opened, that hundreds of Border Patrol agents converged at the Bean. These pictures were taken by a Block Club Chicago photographer who was originally on the scene to capture shots of the city's first snowfall. Reporter John Hansen says that photographer didn't expect to see what happened next.
Around 6:30 in the morning, he noticed Monroe, right downtown, was filled with vehicles, undercover SUVs. And just after 7 a.m., dozens of agents came out of those vehicles, many with their large firearms that you can see in the photos right there. And they went up to Cloudgate, or the Bean as we know it, and essentially took photos. Gregory Bavino, of course, the head of the Department of Border Patrol, was there as well. They posed for these pictures. These are Collins photos that you can see in here. And they said, 1, 2, 3, say Little Village on 3 instead of cheese. And Little Village, of course, the neighborhood where there was a tear gassing incident over the weekend.
Now, Governor Pritzker reacting on social media tonight, writing, quote, making fun of our neighborhoods and communities is disgusting. Greg Bavino and his masked agents are not here to make Chicago safer. As children are tear gassed and U.S. citizens detained, they are posing for photo ops and producing reality TV moments. Now, it's believed these pictures will be used on social media, and this isn't the first time Bavino and his agents have used Chicago landmarks as photo ops for social media. They've also appeared in front of the Trump Tower and took pictures holding guns as they cruised the Chicago River. Scott?
Well, Sylvia, thanks. Meanwhile, Mayor Johnson was asked about that photo op today. He says Bavino just needs to go away.
The mayor says he is provoking terror on people in Chicago.
I've seen a lot of bad behavior from human beings over the course of my study of just history. Even when he was on his way into federal court, you know, he paraded down the street and saluted individuals. And then they go on social media and put hip-hop music to their terror in black and brown communities. That's not even a dog whistle anymore. That's some real racist, jacked up stuff that he is engaged in. And
Mayor Johnson says those actions are why he went before the United Nations last week and asked them to investigate. A man has been arrested for allegedly shooting at Border Patrol agents in Little Village. DHS says it happened Saturday during immigration enforcement operations. Chicago police were also seen clashing with the community and making arrests. DHS says the man charged in the shooting is in the country illegally. They say he is a Mexican citizen and has a criminal history.
DHS appealing an order from a federal judge banning agents from using excessive force against protesters and journalists here in Chicago. The ruling coming down last week with Judge Sarah Ellis saying that agents were the ones who often created the violent situations. Attorneys for the Trump administration argued that tear gas and use of force was necessary. The newest sports betting scandal has landed Major League Baseball in trouble.
We are live with which players are being accused of rigging pitches.
In an emergency meeting at Chicago's City Hall, alderpersons have concerns about consultants hired by the city.
We are learning new information tonight about the theft of a Cicero ambulance. We told you about this when it happened Friday. Police say Lamont Hill stole it from Loretto Hospital before leading police on a chase until he crashed into several squad cars, leaving some officers with minor injuries. He also crashed into a number of other cars on the road. Tonight, we're learning there was a paramedic in the back of the ambulance when it was stolen who was able to jump out at one of the intersections. Hill is now facing 19 total charges. He is still in the hospital.
Major League Baseball making off-season headlines. Federal prosecutors say they have uncovered a major betting scandal within the MLB. Two pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians are accused of taking bribes in a gambling scheme.
Caroline Elliott joins us live from New York. How are sports fans taking this, Caroline?
Well, Don, Scott, there's been a lot of talk online, some saying that these players are just plain stupid, and others that are saying this whole game might be rigged. Now, Emmanuel Clase has not been released into custody yet, not in custody yet, we should say, but we do know that police arrested the other pitcher, Luis Ortiz, over the weekend, and this afternoon he made his first appearance in Boston federal court. He was released on a $500,000 bond, which he has 3 weeks to post, and he had to surrender his passport. Now, U.S. attorneys are accusing both players of taking bribes to throw pitches into the dirt on purpose. According to the indictment, the pitchers would make a deal with bettors in advance on the type of pitch they would throw during the game, and then gamblers would use this info to place hundreds of fraudulent bets. U.S. attorneys say the unnamed co-conspirators won close to $500,000 and then would give the players a very small portion of the earnings. So was all of this worth it? Well, the indictment says Clase, who reportedly makes $4.5 million a year, got paid up to $7,000 during the scheme. And Ortiz, who makes well over $700,000, also got paid only a couple $1,000s. Now, both players are facing up to 65 years in prison.
It's just foolish. I mean, you've got to be a complete, utter idiot to be involved in something like this with all of the ability that you have, all of the work that you have put in, everything that is going on that is positive in your life, and you're a Major League Baseball player, and you're literally taking pennies, less than pennies on the dollar compared to your salary and what you can earn.
The DOJ says this all started in 2023, and now both players are charged with wire fraud, conspiracy, money laundering, and bribery. According to the indictment, the defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. It goes on to say, quote, integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the game, it brings disgrace not only to the participants, but also damages public trust. Meantime, the players' lawyers are denying the charges and saying both players didn't do anything wrong here. The MLB tells us that both players are cooperating. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Caroline. Last year, the Bears only won 5 games all season.
This team has already surpassed that with yesterday's win against the Giants. Lou standing by with how the team is reacting tonight.
Yeah, they're not apologizing for who they're playing, Scott. Bears given the day off after Houdini pulled off another magic trick, this time costing Giants head coach Brian Daboll his job. Caleb Williams outplayed during the game by Jackson Dart, the Giants quarterback, but winning the game at the end, throwing the Bears right into the playoff mix. Hey, Bears didn't run the ball like I thought they would, but Kyle Madungai took advantage of his few chances, taking one into the end zone there. And when the Bears defense needed to come through, they attacked Big Blue, sacking Giants quarterbacks 4 times. The D allowed New York just 7 yards the final 3 drives, giving the offense a chance to get back in the game in the final quarter.
We want a team that will fight all 60 minutes. It's a group that believes in what we're doing as a coaching staff. They believe in what we have in the locker room. And that belief comes through each and every week right now. They understand that we're always in these games. We still haven't put that whole collective 60 minutes, 3 phases together yet. Yet we've seen glimpses of it throughout the season so far. And so I'm happy with the fact that we're winning games and we're finding a way to win games, and the guys are believing in what we're doing. And yet we still have so far that we can still go and how much we can still accomplish as a whole team.
Yeah, Bears will need to play much better these final 8 games. The schedule significantly tougher starting Sunday in Minnesota. The Vikings losing to the Ravens yesterday. Scott.
Lou, thank you. President Trump announcing more pardons today, this time for his allies charged with attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The president's former personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, and his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, among those being pardoned. The impact these pardons will have, unclear tonight. The president can only pardon people from federal charges, and none of those named were charged in any federal cases.
The Supreme Court is rejecting a request to overturn its decision on same-sex marriage. An appeal by Kim Davis, a former Kentucky court clerk, challenged the court's landmark decision. Davis has been trying to get the court to overturn a lower court order that fined her $360,000 for denying a marriage license to a same-sex couple. The Supreme Court did agree to take up a case about mail-in ballots that could set new limits ahead of next year's midterm elections. At issue is whether federal law bans states from counting mail-in ballots that are received after Election Day. It stems from a case in Mississippi where the state Republican Party argues that mail-in ballots received after Election Day should not be counted. Many states, including Illinois, allow ballots to be counted as long as they are postmarked by Election Day.
As House members return to Washington to vote on Senate legislation that could reopen the government, the Lincoln Forum and the Union League Club of Chicago hosting a public forum on restoring civility to American democracy. Former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel and former Vice President Mike Pence fielding questions from moderator Jonathan Martin from Politico in a friendly conversation on why lawmakers have become so fiercely divided by identity politics. The Democrat and Republican agreeing that Americans are growing increasingly impatient with politicians' unwillingness to work together.
I think the American people know this is off kilter. They know that politics around Hunger Games is not healthy, not good.
I think there is a growing desire to see us get back. And I'm not talking about holding hands and singing Kumbaya and saying we don't have anything we disagree on. That was never my relationship with Rahm Emanuel.
Emanuel believes one way to begin to heal the deep divisions within this country is to mandate that all children under the age of 18 be banned from access to social media platforms.
Let's check in on our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls. What a beautiful look outside. The sun's still setting. So, Emily, it's like 30 now, I'm sure. But what is this info about 60s we're hearing?
Yeah, that's right. So all of the snow that we've picked up, it's just going to be out of here in a few days. So beginning tomorrow, we have a pretty decent warm-up in store for us. Still below average, but we're going back up to the 40s tomorrow. Then we're close to 50 by the middle of this week. We're in the mid to upper 50s going into Friday. And then by Saturday and Sunday, we are going to be in the 60s. So yes, a really, really big warming trend is in store for us later this week. But for right now, it's still very cold. Upper 20s, low 30s. We have wind speeds about 10 to 15 miles per hour currently, and that's sending wind chill temperatures down into the 20s out there this evening. Futurecast taking us throughout the next couple of hours here. Temps are going to dip down into the 20s for just about all of us. And notice how a lot of us by midnight are sitting in the mid-20s. That's under mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. But then going into tomorrow morning, we start to see increasing cloud cover again, and then the chance for scattered snow showers. That's right, another round of snow showers going to be possible tomorrow morning, but little to no accumulation, so we're not concerned about that. Temperatures tomorrow, we're topping out in the low 40s after a cold night, only in the 20s. And then looking forward to the middle of the week, Wednesday, 49, 53, mostly cloudy on Thursday. Friday, we're in the mid-50s, and then there you see it. The 60s are coming our way for this weekend on Saturday. We'll be right back.
There is a search happening in Florida right now after a small plane crashed into a lake.
Fire officials responded to the scene after getting a number of 911 calls about a plane that clipped a fence, trees, and then crashed into a lake in Coral Springs. Dive teams did a preliminary search and did not find any victims or large pieces of the plane. The aircraft was reportedly heading to Jamaica to help with hurricane relief. No homes were hit and no one on the ground was hurt.
Now to a wild scene in California. Police say it all started when a guy stole a truck that was hauling porta potties in Santa Monica. Well, he crashed on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, but then, for some reason, ran into the ocean and took his clothes off. The suspect helped police in a 2-hour standoff before being arrested by lifeguards and law enforcement.
If I'm reading this right, is he riding like an actual real bull?
I have so many questions. What?
This is Gus. This is Gus. Gus is famous. He's a Brahma bull.
Can I pet Gus?
Absolutely.
Well, it's store policy at this Tractor Supply to welcome animals, but this visitor was a bit unexpected and led to a police call. This is in Akron, Ohio. Gus the bull was in town for a rodeo over the weekend. The officer clearly having fun with the whole thing. Gave Gus a pet, even ended up climbing on the saddle as he saw to take a couple of pictures.
Yeah, nice one here. A military veteran living proof you are never too old to accomplish your dreams. Irving Locker, a World War II vet, now a published songwriter at 101 years old. His song, If Freedom Was Free, was released just a day before his birthday. Locker says the song comes from his heart. It's meant to bring awareness to the sacrifices military members made and continue to make.
So freedom is not free, and people have to know that men sacrificed their lives and their limbs and got killed so you could be free. Other than that, I can't explain it any other way. And it comes from the heart, not the lips.
A Nashville-based nonprofit that helps veterans work through their traumas by building something new through the arts helped to get the song released.
A Purple Heart belonging to a World War II veteran has been missing for years.
But now, just in time for Veterans Day tomorrow, the medal is being returned to family members.
Take your...
Now at the bottom of the hour, the FDA is planning to remove warning labels on hormone replacement therapy aimed at helping women through menopause. We'll tell you why.
Indiana and Illinois both slammed with lake effect snow today, but the good news, we're starting to see it melt.
First, city council members are in a standoff with Mayor Brandon Johnson over the proposed $16 billion budget.
Members calling a special meeting today to grill the mayor on why he's not cutting more expenses to close a $1.15 billion gap.
Political reporter Paris Schutz is here with the latest.
Yeah, Dawn and Scott, that grilling is going on right now as we speak. Expected to last late into the night. Council members are giving the mayor and his finance team some tough questions as they called the meeting to bring in the authors of an outside report that came up with ways the city could save up to $1.4 billion. It's known as the EY report. Now, Mayor Johnson says he's taking this report seriously, but there are other things for him to consider, too.
Just hope that they spend, the same amount of time in this EY report also looking at how corporate interests are continuing to get away with without having to pay their fair share in taxes. I think all of it requires our attention at this time.
EY stands for Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young recommended things like consolidating city real estate, some of its fleet of city vehicles, the way it lets out contracts, and then $100 million in savings by having employees pay more toward their health premiums. But alders complained that only $80 million of these recommendations were included in the mayor's budget. And the mayor, as you know, has also proposed an employee head tax, social media tax, and other revenue generators. So council members like 19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea don't sound like they want to go along with those taxes.
We've been very clear. We want to see more cuts. We want to see more efficiencies. We know we can't cut our way out of this, but before we talk about higher taxes, higher fees, we need to identify cuts and efficiencies. And this current proposal the mayor's put forth doesn't include enough.
And the city paid $3.2 million to Ernst & Young to do this report. By the way, the city's budget director says a lot of these recommendations would take years to implement, and so they wouldn't necessarily impact this year's budget. But judging by some of the comments at that meeting, it doesn't seem like many of the alders are buying that. Dawn?
Thank you, Paris. With our first snowfall of the season, now is a good time to remind you to shovel your property to avoid paying a fine. City ordinance requires sidewalks, in Chicago at least, near homes and businesses be cleared at least 5 feet wide on all sides. Homeowners who don't shovel walkways can face fines of up to $500. Businesses can face fines up to $1,000. Beginning next month, parking also on some of the city's main streets will not be allowed. And that is part of the city's winter overnight parking ban. This covers about 100 miles of streets. There are signs that tell you where parking is not allowed between 3 and 7 in the morning, regardless of how much snow there is. Had to learn that lesson. But there's also about 500 miles of streets where no parking is allowed when there are 2 or more inches of snow, no matter what time it is. Cars left on the street will be towed. The parking ban ends April 1st.
Given all the snow, probably a good time to remind you that if you're new to Chicago and see a perfect parking spot in the street with some kind of object in it, you probably don't want to park there. Yes, we're talking about dibs, a winter tradition around here when people spend hours clearing out the snow from around their car and want to hold that spot until they return. So you'll start seeing those ratty old lawn chairs, pots, traffic cones, even trash cans holding some spots. But again, not to fear right now with the snow sticking around, because as Emily is reminding us, it's all going to melt relatively quickly.
That's right. So we already saw some melting actually taking place today with high temperatures that ended up warming above the freezing mark. Right now, a lot of us are sitting pretty close to freezing. Couple spots beginning to drop into the 20s. But as far as snow is concerned, we're seeing just a couple stray snow showers still left over in LaPorte County. Everywhere else, we've been dry for the last several hours, and a lot of us right now are just under partly cloudy skies. Low temperatures tonight. It's going to get chilly. A lot of us in the low to mid 20s. And that's about 10 degrees below average. Your normal low sits at 36 degrees for this time of the year. So your out the door forecast tomorrow, it's going to be cold when we wake up for Veterans Day. We'll have clouds around during the morning. Scattered snow showers are also going to be possible during the morning hours. But then during the afternoon, we're going to start to see a couple breaks in the clouds. Temperatures are going to warm up into the low 40s. So again, plenty of melting going to be taking place. On Wednesday, we're in the upper 40s. And then by Thursday, we're planning on highs climbing into the 50s, and the temps are just going to keep on climbing going into this weekend. We actually have 60s by this weekend. I'll show you that in your 7-day coming up.
Big health news for women today.
The FDA will now remove a major warning on hormone replacement therapy that prevented many women from using it. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing today the black box warnings on women's estrogen-based products for hormone replacement therapy will soon be gone. Those warnings said the therapies could raise the risk for some cancers, dementia, heart attack, and stroke. Well, Kennedy said for decades, the American medical establishment has, quote, turned its back on women, and that millions were told to fear the very therapy that could have given them strength, peace, and dignity through one of life's most difficult transitions, menopause, he says. Many doctors and clinicians have recommended estrogen to help treat the difficult symptoms that come with menopause and have had to combat that warning label to convince women to take it. One local gynecologist says it's a huge step forward.
You read this that it might cause, stroke, heart attacks, breast cancer, and you decide not to do it even when, a physician or clinician may have thoroughly explained it. And so some studies have showed up to 30% of women will stop using or not even attempt to use the hormones because of the labeling. So it's really important that we have the best and most up-to-date information available for women when it comes to using this, because what we know is that maybe 80% of women have some sort of menopausal hormonal symptoms, but only about 5% of women are using hormones.
Many doctors say this will allow more people to confidently use these estrogen medications. Still ahead on the news at 5, tomorrow's Veterans Day, and one Chicago school is honoring its alumni.
Also, a military honor, missing for years, finally back where it belongs.
The Leo High School Choir singing the national anthem today at a school ceremony. This time they are honoring veterans ahead of Veterans Day. The annual ceremony was held at Leo High School in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood on the south side, of course. The school invited their alumni service veterans back. More than 100 were there. The choir performed the national anthem in the courtyard usually, which, by the way, is named after Corporal John Fardy, an alum and World War II hero who graduated back in 1940. In years past, Leo has awarded diplomas to men who had left Leo High School to serve at this ceremony. Taps was also played for the veterans who were lost. They read the names of 75 Leo grads who died fighting for their country.
A Purple Heart, missing for decades, is finally home.
And tonight, an Oak Lawn family has their hero's medal back. Terrence is back with how it was found.
Yeah, very emotional moment for his family today as well, and you'll understand why here. Army rifleman James Bennett was wounded twice in World War II. After the war, he and his wife settled in Oak Lawn. Years later, his Purple Heart was found inside a safe deposit box his family didn't know existed. The box had been sitting in a local bank for years until the state treasurer's office took it in as unclaimed property. Investigators then traced it back to Bennett's niece, who still lives in Hammond, Indiana, where he grew up. She came to the southwest suburbs today to accept her uncle's medal just one day before Veterans Day.
I really didn't know much about his service record, but I know he was very involved in this community and with the VFW and the police and the firemen and everything. I think he was very well loved, too. I know I loved him.
This is the 17th Purple Heart we've returned since taking office. I believe that's the most in the country, but our job is not done yet.
In fact, they have 6 more Purple Hearts that are still waiting to be claimed. If you think one could belong to someone you know, visit OperationPurpleHeart.org. Dawn.
Thank you, Terrence. The snow should be done falling for now, and soon everything on the ground will be a slushy, muddy mess.
Yeah, the reason we're heading into the 60s soon. Emily has details in her full forecast.
I'm Luke Canellis. Hey, Bulls on a 2-game skid. Need a pick-me-up tonight, but hope they don't get a spur-up-the-you-know-what. Plus, Connor Bedard gets noticed for the heater he's on, and the Cubs' Kate Horton's up for an award. And Caleb Williams was dancing, dashing, prancing around, carrying the Bears to yesterday's winner, but hey, man, it still wasn't enough to satisfy Bears fans. Former Bears fullback Jason McKee talks about the victory and the fans next in sports.
So, Emily, we'd like to skip ahead to the 60s.
Yeah, I think we would. But you know what? It's kind of good that we're easing our way into it this week because because we have all that snow on the ground in some portions of the area. So can you imagine if we went up to 60s tomorrow? It would be a sloppy mess.
But it would be gone
out there.
quickly.
It absolutely would be gone more quickly. Take a look at some of these snowfall totals that we've had. And these are numbers, by the way, that the National Weather Service put out around late morning or midday. And for locations that you see in northwest Indiana, such as Cedar Lake, that came in at 12.3, but we actually added to those numbers with the afternoon round. So don't be surprised if there's going to be another update when it comes later to this evening or possibly even into tomorrow that we could be seeing these numbers actually going up. But really impressive totals across some portions of the area. Again, these are some of our higher numbers, but then places in Chicago, in the Edgewater neighborhood, we only saw about 3.5 inches of snow. So a big difference just depending on where you were at. And that is the nature of lake effect. That's how it goes. So your temperatures out there right now, it's cold. We're sitting in the upper 20s to low 30s. We have west-northwesterly winds, still 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's enough to send wind chill temperatures down into the low to mid 20s. So it's chilly out there tonight. It's going to stay cold. We have low temperatures that are going to be going down into the mid 20s tonight for a lot of us. Then tomorrow we are above freezing, but still coming in about 10 degrees below average. Average high temperature is now 51 degrees. We're going to be close to that come Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we're rising into the 50s. There you see it. I know your eyes are already looking at it. 63 degrees is where we're going to be on Saturday. And on Saturday, we're expected to stay dry, but then on Sunday, we could be seeing a couple rain showers out there for your day on Sunday. Satellite and radar. Things are quiet for most areas, but we still have at least a couple snow showers coming down in the far eastern extent of LaPorte County, but they're not the really heavy snow showers like what we were experiencing previously. So now all of the lake effect for the most part is more so Michigan's problem and then over into northeastern Indiana for the next couple of hours. But then tomorrow morning, don't be surprised if you see a few snowflakes again. Scattered snow showers are going to be possible Veterans Day morning. And then during the afternoon, we're going to end up breaking into some sunshine. High temperatures still in the low 40s. Remember, cooler than average tomorrow. Cold front's going to come through Tuesday night going into early morning Wednesday, but it's really not going to make a huge difference when it comes to our temperatures. If anything, it's just going to be changing our wind direction. Temperatures are still expected to warm up into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Plenty of sunshine is going to be out there for your Wednesday. And then by Thursday, that's when we start to see increasing cloud cover again. For tonight, 25, we'll have westerly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. So that's going to bring wind chill temperatures down into the teens, so be prepared for that tomorrow morning. 7-day forecast. Tomorrow 41, 49, partly cloudy on Wednesday. Thursday, we see increasing cloud cover, a high of 53, 56, partly cloudy conditions on Friday. Then Saturday, we're in the 60s. Soak it up because it's going to be very short-lived. We're back down into the 50s come Sunday. By Monday, we're only in the upper 40s. Back to you.
Bulls looking to get back on track at home against the Spurs tonight.
But first, it's a Bears victory Monday as the Bears have now surpassed their season win total from last season. Luke and Ellis here now with more.
Dawn, the bar was low, wasn't it? Just 5 wins last year. Hey, don't tell the Bears they're lucky after pulling out another one-score win. They're 4th already this season, which is 2 more than they had all of last season. And this one cost Giants coach Brian Daboll his job. Replaced by Chicago's very own Mike Kafka, who played at St. Rita and Northwestern. Bears didn't play their best ball yesterday. We all know it. And Ben Johnson as well. And he's going to use it this week to the team's advantage.
I think it's the best thing about us winning right now is we can come back and we can coach them hard, you know, and we'll tell them the truth, and they know it. I mean, they're professionals. They all know that that we're winning, but yet this isn't necessarily the style or the fashion that we want to hang our hat on long term. We understand the urgency that's at hand. We know where we are in the NFC right now. But I think the biggest thing in the message to the team is we're a 6-3 team right now that's looking to get to 7-3.
Yes, they are. Caleb Williams had a couple of big throws down the stretch. Colston Loveland here, reaching across his body to make the snag, kept the 91-yard drive alive, cutting the deficit to 2017. Then the bullet there to Luther Burden to the Giants' 19-yard line after the muffed punt set up the game-winning run. Hey, Bears didn't play their best ball, but former Bears fullback Jason McKee isn't downplaying this win.
We have the best fans in the world here in Chicago, but at the end of the day, win or lose, they're going to be on you either way. So the Bears will never apologize for a win. There's no style points in terms of a win. Hey, we'll take the win. It doesn't have to have lipstick on it, makeup. It doesn't have to have perfume or cologne. We'll take the win any way we can get it.
Yes, we will, J-Mac. More with Jason McKee coming up on Chicago Sports Tonight at 6 o'clock on Fox Local. Then 9:30 right here on Fox 32. Tina Wynn will join me along with Fox Sports 1's Danny Parkins. We'll recap the Bears' win. Look ahead to their gauntlet of a schedule, the last 8 games of the regular season. All right, Bulls couldn't stop stars Giannis and Donovan Mitchell tonight. An even taller task. 7'5" Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Bulls back home, where they're 5-0 this season. And if you talk to Modest Bazelis, they had no business losing over the weekend at Milwaukee and Cleveland.
I feel like we should have won both. Of course, it's easy to say that, but we got to capitalize when, the time comes that we have to be ready. And, when we're down, we have to be able to convert and execute every play. And that's just something that's happening right now. It's a learning curve, and we'll get through it.
Yes, they will. Connor Bedard had one of the best weeks of his career, named one of the NHL's 3 stars of the week. Bedard finished up with 3 goals and 7 assists in 4 games. He's second in the NHL with 25 points right now. By the way, Duncan Keith inducted into the Hall of Fame later tonight. Baseball's Rookie of the Year award will be handed out tonight as well. Cubs' Cade Horton is a finalist to win the National League honor. This guy had a 1.03 earned run average in the second half, second best in Cubs history. Braves catcher Drake Baldwin and Brewers infielder Caleb Durbin are also finalists. Cubs 2016 World Series champ Kyle Hendricks is retiring after 12 seasons. And Illini Hoops moves up 3 spots to number 14. Illinois hosts number 11 Texas Tech tomorrow in Champaign. Dawn.
Thank you, Lou. Emily has one last check of the forecast when we come back.
This show.
All right, Emily, one final check of the forecast.
You know, it's a better forecast than the one I was telling last night.
Yes.
So there we go. We've got something going for us. Tomorrow, we have scattered snow showers in the morning, but little to no accumulation. That's going to be key there. So not too bad tomorrow for Veterans Day. 41 degrees for your high, which is about 10 degrees below average, but we're going to get back on track later this week. Near 50 on Wednesday, Thursday, partly sunny, 53, mid-50s by Friday this weekend. You know, I did this just for Lou. 63 degrees on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can we make sure that it's in the 60s the following Sunday when the Bears come back home?
I'll work on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's not a magician.
Thanks for joining us at 5.
Well, you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
For all streaming platforms.
We'll see you tonight at 9.